Do you know why Iran does not seem afraid of the United States and Israel, even when both apply military pressure and economic sanctions? When people talk about tension in the Middle East, one country appears again and again. That country is Iran. For decades, Iran has faced sanctions, military threats, political pressure, and international isolation. Yet its leaders often speak with strong confidence. This creates an important question. Why does Iran seem unafraid even when facing powerful opponents? The answer begins with history. During the Iran-Iraq War in the 1980s, Iran experienced long years of destruction. Cities were struck by missiles and many countries supported Iraq. For Iranian leaders, the lesson was clear. Survival depends on self-reliance. They concluded that the country should never again depend on outside protection. The memory of that war shaped how Iran views security even today. It created a mindset that survival must come from internal strength rather than external alliances. After the war, Iran started building a different kind of military strategy. Instead of trying to match larger armies or expensive air forces, Iran focused on deterrence. The goal was not to win a traditional war. The goal was to make attacking Iran too costly for anyone considering it. This strategy relies on creating risk and uncertainty for potential adversaries rather than matching them weapon for weapon. One of the central parts of this strategy is missile development. Over many years, Iran invested heavily in short-range and long-range missile programs. These systems are often presented as defensive tools designed to respond quickly to any attack. Military planners believe missiles help compensate for weaknesses in other areas such as modern fighter aircraft. Instead of maintaining massive air fleets, missiles offer a cheaper and faster way to project power. Missiles also create uncertainty for opponents. If potential enemies know that a response could reach their military bases or strategic assets, they may hesitate before taking action. In this way, deterrence becomes psychological as much as military. The fear of retaliation can sometimes prevent conflict before it even begins. Another important factor is regional influence. Iran has built relationships and partnerships across the region. This creates what analysts sometimes call forward defense. Instead of fighting only inside its own borders, Iran tries to maintain influence beyond them. This makes any conflict more complicated for adversaries because pressure on Iran could trigger reactions in multiple areas. The battlefield in theory becomes larger and less predictable. Geography also plays a role. Iran is a large country with mountains and varied terrain. Large-scale invasion would be extremely difficult. Its location near important energy routes means any major conflict could affect global markets. Iranian leaders understand that geography provides strategic leverage. Even the possibility of disruption can influence international decision-making. But military strategy alone does not explain the confidence we see. Political identity is another key element. Resistance to outside pressure has become part of the national narrative. Leaders often frame external threats as proof that the country is independent and strong. This messaging reinforces unity among supporters and turns pressure into motivation. In this way, politics and security become closely connected. At the same time, confidence does not mean the absence of fear. Behind strong statements, there is usually careful calculation. Iran generally avoids direct large-scale war with major powers. Instead, it relies on signaling and controlled escalation. The idea is to show capability without crossing lines that could lead to full conflict. This balancing act requires constant adjustment depending on regional events. Technology has strengthened this approach. Iran has invested in drones, missile guidance systems, and command networks that allow relatively low-cost systems to challenge expensive military assets. Modern conflict has shown that cheaper technologies can create serious problems for stronger forces. This changes the balance of power and supports Iran's strategy. A small investment used strategically can force opponents to spend far more in defense. There is also the question of nuclear capability. Iranian officials say their program is peaceful, but discussions about technological capacity create uncertainty. Even without confirmed weapons, the possibility alone can influence how opponents think. Uncertainty becomes part of deterrence. In international politics, perception can be as important as reality. Domestic politics is another piece of the puzzle. During periods of economic difficulty or political pressure, projecting strength externally can help maintain internal support. Showing resistance against foreign pressure can unify people around national identity. This does not mean external policies are only for domestic audiences, but internal stability and external messaging often reinforce each other. Critics argue that this strategy carries risks. Strong rhetoric and military demonstrations can increase tensions and raise the chance of miscalculation. In an environment where multiple powers operate close to each other, small incidents could escalate quickly. History shows that conflicts sometimes begin not because anyone wanted war, but because misunderstandings spiral out of control. From Iran's perspective, however, the strategy appears successful because large-scale conflict has been avoided for years. The country's leaders believe deterrence works when opponents hesitate. Survival rather than victory remains the main objective. Avoiding war while maintaining influence is seen as a strategic success. Modern warfare itself has changed. Power is no longer measured only by economic size or number of aircraft. Perception matters. If a country can convince others that it is capable of responding strongly, that perception alone can alter decisions. Iran's approach seems built around this psychological reality. Confidence becomes part of national defense. Still, there are limits. Economic sanctions continue to create pressure. Regional instability brings uncertainty. Military strength does not remove internal challenges. Iranian leaders must constantly balance confidence with caution. Too much aggression could trigger confrontation, while too much restraint could appear weak. As military technology moves faster, this balance becomes more difficult. Hypersonic weapons, artificial intelligence, and advanced surveillance systems reduce reaction times. Decisions that once took hours may soon take minutes or even seconds. In this environment, deterrence depends not only on weapons, but on communication and understanding between rivals. So why does Iran appear unafraid? Part of the answer is history. The country learned to survive under pressure. Part of the answer is strategy. Iran developed tools designed specifically to discourage stronger opponents. Looks like fearlessness from outside may actually be careful calculation inside. The goal is not necessarily confrontation. The goal is to ensure that any attack carries serious risks. Smaller or economically weaker states increasingly use asymmetric tactics, technology, and psychological deterrence to challenge larger powers. Traditional definitions of strength are changing. Influence can come from strategy rather than size alone. As technology advances and conflicts become faster, the line between confidence and risk becomes thinner. Countries must project strength while avoiding mistakes that could trigger larger wars. The speed of modern warfare leaves less room for hesitation and fewer opportunities to correct errors. In the end, Iran's posture may not be about fear at all. It may be about perception, survival, and strategy shaped by decades of experience. It is a response to history as much as to current threats. And as the world moves into an era where decisions happen at machine speed, one question remains. Is appearing unafraid the strongest form of defense, or simply the most necessary one?